James Kaufman, World News Report today. Most people missed it, but yesterday we had a annular solar eclipse. Most all of the sun was covered by the moon, but it was only visible to that extent if you were in Antarctica. They don't think anyone actually photographed it or took pictures of it, but we got lucky enough to see it here on GOES 19 ultraviolet imager at 195 angstroms. Watch it pass one more time here. No, it doesn't pass directly over it like it was supposed to if you were viewing it from Antarctica, but this is from GOES 19, and this is the solar ultraviolet imager, 195 angstroms. Now, I want y'all to remember that GOES 19 solar ultraviolet imager is on the GOES 19 satellite, and this Core 1 is also on that same satellite. You're seeing the moon actually darken the sun here, and then for some reason turn around and go the other way, which makes zero sense. So that is the eclipse from the same exact satellite, and it's nowhere near, well, what we see from GOES solar ultraviolet imager. Remember, the sun is only this little circle here, so you can see that it almost does make that full eclipse and turns black. Now, the problems I'm seeing here, no one can understand why this thing lights up like it does once a day. But we've had two large solar flares, one and then a second one here, and there are no sunspots in those two areas. That is the actual eclipse right there. All right, again, this is GOES 19 Core 1 as well. Looking at it from a different angstrom. A bunch of things don't make sense, and this has been a problematic product since its launch. No one can explain why the moon turns around here and goes the other way from the perspective of the spacecraft. It sure doesn't do it on the other camera that's right next to it. The other question we have is these two large flares. We're going to take a look at the sun. We also have the question of why this thing lights up like it does at least once a day. Makes no sense. Of course, they're saying that we can see the moon because that's Earth shine. Earth shine. Now, we didn't hear that term until this was put in orbit, or supposedly put in orbit. Show you that again real quick. There's that weird light. Comes on at least once a day. There is the eclipse, darkens it. There's a large solar flare, and then there's that big light and another flare here. I don't know what the light is unless these are the coronal mass ejections, and that's just what it looks like from this instrument. So many questions. Why is there Earthshine here all of a sudden, but there wasn't when it was above here or below here? There should be Earthshine the entire time. Number two, there's no Earthshine there you can see, no Earthshine there you can see, and then all of a sudden there's Earthshine. What is the big light that continues to, well, lighten up the entire frame here? That's the eclipse. This is the light I'm talking about right there. And why does the moon turn and go the other direction? Well, it's again on the same spacecraft we just looked at, and the moon should transit it. GOES 19 is said to be a geostationary satellite orbiting at 22,300 miles above Earth, which is 1/10 of the way to the moon. And, well, I don't understand why we don't see Earthshine coming in here or Earthshine above here, and all of a sudden we do see Earthshine here. I'm going to point these, well, that is not been explained and can't be explained. Those big, bright, white flashes. You can see that. And, well, again, this has been a problematic instrument since day one. And I personally have been kicked out of both the NASA and NOAA Facebook groups for asking too many questions about this. Now, we don't see the moon at all from SOHO. And this is LASCO C3. It's on the SOHO spacecraft. That's a European product. But we do see two large coronal mass ejections. One on the 17th, and then again one today on the 18th. One here, and one here. And of course, I'm going to show you that there's no filament eruptions, and there's no sunspot groups in those areas. I mean, I guess there's a very small chance that this small sunspot here did cause the large coronal mass ejection that shot off to the left here. It's coming around the limb. It was taken halfway through the 16th. It looks a little high to me, but it could have been southerly pointed, or it could have moved to the south slightly. But that is our only sunspot. On the other side, this is the Earth-facing side here, and this is the Earth-facing side here. Well, there's no sunspot groups in either place, and no filaments that erupted to cause the two coronal mass ejections that we all just saw. We all just saw on LASCO C3 off of SOHO's satellite. Over to STO HMI magnetogram, the larger coronal mass ejection came from this area. Nothing is visible here on our magnetogram yet. And of course, y'all don't see any sunspots in this area, and we didn't see any on the backside composite. There is a chance that that small red dot, being a sunspot group, did cause at least one of the CMEs, and should be visible and named by the end of the day, but I sure don't know what caused the one today on the 18th. Can you tell me? Meanwhile, back to SOHO 284 angstroms, we have another coronal hole building. It will be Earth-facing in about 3 or 4 days, which means that in about 7 or 8 days, we'll have an uptick in solar winds. And this is probably the sunspot group. We're not really seeing the sunspot group. We're seeing the light from it, or the activity from it. And I wanted to mention that this was taken at 6:06 Central this morning, so it is later and greater. The CME we saw was from the 17th, coming from this side. It was completely eclipsed by the limb, and it won't be geoeffective towards Earth. But again, there's nothing over here that could have caused that CME today that went in this direction. There's nothing, no filaments activity, nothing on the backside, nothing at all. Again, this was taken at 6:06, and the STO magnetogram was only taken an hour ago, and we don't see anything here or here. This is the latest and greatest. This popped off on the 18th, this popped off on the 17th. Two fairly sizable coronal mass ejections. We'll take a look at those on NASA's Parker Spiral and see if they registered. I don't see why they wouldn't have. And we basically have really three Earth-facing sunspot groups. 4373 is just about around the limb there. We have 3 simple sunspot groups Earth-facing. And it looks like we have a lot of trouble coming around, including our old friend 4366, which should be around in about 3 or 4 days, and will be renamed. It will be in the northern hemisphere, as it has been. This will be its second pass. It does look like it is staying together. If y'all didn't see my earlier update on that sunspot group, it is, well, enormous. Now, heading over to Parker Spiral, we can see that the CME from yesterday has been mapped out, or modeled, and it's going the exact opposite way. Although that's sure not what it looks like it's doing on LASCO, does it? Looks like it's going down and to the left. Here, it's completely backside. It's popped off on the 17th. The lighter one today, where there are no filaments or sunspots, has not been modeled yet, from what we can see here. Earth is this little yellow dot right here, waiting for the next bit of trouble. In summary, we had an annular, or ring of fire, solar eclipse yesterday, as seen from Antarctica, and we're getting a partial picture here on our GOES solar ultraviolet imager that's orbiting at 22,300 miles above Earth. I had one of the subscribers ask me what was going on core 1. I showed y'all both cores on GOES 19, and we can compare it to core on GOES 18, and obviously there's no comparison. Whatever they have up right now is a piece of garbage, and there are no answers. Now, I guess if we're going to do it, we better do it all. First thing you see over here on core 1, that is the M2.5, probably an X-flare, eclipsed by the sun. Happened about 48 hours ago. I'm sure y'all saw it. These, that happened on the 15th or 16th, these right here, now you don't see the moon whatsoever on this core 1 on the right here. These are the two explosions that I have questions about right here. Right? Two huge explosions. No sunspots in either position. No filament eruptions in either position. And you might be able to tell that this is the 18th. And the first one pops off on the 17th, as you can see right there. So, very, very strange. Nothing showed up on our GOES proton flux. Alright, this is the big bad boy that was probably an X-flare. Came in, I believe, at an M2.5, mostly eclipsed by the sun. That could be the same sunspot group that was showing activity on the 17th and 18th. This is obviously going to be the 16th. This is the 17th. And this is the 18th here. And we see no major flares, although we sure see coronal mass ejections coming from that solar disk. Nothing but mysteries here. God bless you guys. I thought I would compare some of the data and show you the inconsistencies. This is more inconsistencies than I believe remembering ever seen with this, with the different instruments and different data. Again, this is on our GOES satellite, and this is GOES 19, at least the orange line is. That said, I hope you're not more confused than when we started, because I know I am. Please share, guys. Give us a thumbs up. At least we got to see the annular solar eclipse, best seen from Antarctica, but we got to see ours on GOES 19 solar ultraviolet imager. I hope y'all enjoyed it. God bless. Share. Thumbs up. Anything's possible in Bizarro World.